What's up, y'all? Coach Jake here. In today's video, we're going over a couple quick fixes and check-ins if you're dealing with any kind of elbow pain, discomfort, tension. The big principle and one that I always want you to remember whenever you're feeling pain, discomfort, having issues, specific spot in a specific joint, whatever the case may be, is that we want to check in with the surrounding tissues that are living around it. So in case of elbow, we're going to talk tricep and forearm today. To get started with tricep, we want to grab a bigger tool here. I like a big standard foam roller for this, and I do prefer to work on top of a surface for this. It can be a kitchen island, it can be your desk at work, it can be a piano bench, whatever the case is. Don't get too wrapped up in the minor details there. But working on top of a surface is a nice way to keep the rest of the body a little bit less active and to help get into some of these nooks and crannies here. I'm going to start with some bigger pressure, some bigger tools to get everything warmed up. Do a little road mapping, figure out where our hot spots are living for that day, for that specific session. And then we're going to come back into those with some smaller tools. Quick heads up, this is the anatomically typical pathway for radial nerve. So if you're pushing into back of arm here and you're feeling any kind of big nervy sensation, more often than not it's going to be rolling towards thumb, pointer, middle finger. You want to adjust that spot, adjust that pressure, angle, get away from that a little bit. If it feels sketchy, it's sketchy. That's not a great way to get things feeling better in the body. So again, quick few minutes, get some circulation going, get some blood flow going, and then you can swap out that big tool for something smaller. We're using the Therapy Ball Plus here from TuneUp. I usually like to keep that kind of contained and surrounded with bottom hand, so make a C around that, plant that, keep that nice and secure on whatever surface you're working on. And then we're going to get back in here with some more specific time and attention. And when we're talking about elbow, tricep is mainly going to provide extension for us. So it straightens arm out. So if you want to get that muscle moving underneath that input, all we're going to do is bend arm, straighten it back out. We can also think about creating a little cross fiber action. Think about getting that top of the arm rotating on top of that tool. It's another really nice way to keep that tissue engaged and get some good results going for you. Once that spot's feeling better, feeling like some things are worked out, I'm going to inch up. We call that principle kerneling. Think about corn on the cob. We're going kernel by kernel and really searching out that entire length of the muscle. Forearm can also often be involved, especially if you're a desk jockey, if you're using hands, fingers, arms a bunch throughout the workday. This can be a really big accumulation spot and stressor for all this stuff around elbow. So when we're talking soft tissue time and attention, I like to use 2 balls at the same time just to make this nice and efficient. And if you want, you can come just above as well. Get into some of these common tendons from flexor and extensor compartment of forearm. If you have any tendonitis diagnosis, be mindful around these spots. So this is going to be common extensor tendon just above elbow. common flexor tendon on the inside here. If you're pushing into those spots and it's creating pain, you're dealing with any real severe point tenderness, might be best just to stay away from that for the time being. Work down into these muscle bellies through forearm here. So again, keep those balls stacked on top of each other. We can use some active wrist movement. You can introduce some of those rotational aspects of that forearm movement. So supination, going palm up, pronation, going palm down. And another one I like to coach people up with is just simply just making fist, tensing up, and then opening that back up. Again, once that spot's feeling good, we're just going to inch back down, balls staying directly on top of each other. If you're feeling some good stuff from that, you can work with some active thumb movement. That's typically going to be inch and a half, 2 inches above that bony spot in the wrist for you. You'll feel that big tendon wrapping up across and moving up into the top of the forearm. If you ever want to be sure, you can just set some pressure and some input in there. Give yourself a nice thumbs up. You should feel that tissue contracting and moving underneath your fingers there. Quick note about elbow pain. If you've been spending some time and attention through forearm, through upper arm, and things aren't quite moving along like we'd want, it may be time to move up the line a little bit further into rotator cuff, and believe it or not, even up here into neck. That's going to be a different video for a different day, but the big takeaway that I want you to get from that is that if you've been consistent in your effort and the needle isn't moving at all, it's time to start checking in on some different spots. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions, need any clarification on anything. Always here to help out. Want you feeling better faster. Like, subscribe, share, do all the social media things. We'll catch you on the next one.